Here one more time at least to break down everything with me is SI.com. Arrowhead Report's Tucker Franklin. Tucker, what a weekend it's been just with everything going on, with the NFL draft.
Yeah, I think it's been a great weekend for the NFL. Everyone was expecting this draft to kind of almost fail, and then they were thinking, oh, it's going to have technical difficulties. It's a certain thing. But it went really well. They raised over $100 million for COVID-19 research, and I think that's one of the phenomenal things that happened. It's one of those things when you hear it, kind of gives you a little bit of goosebumps.
We'll talk about that a little bit here in a second too. We'll talk about the draft itself as well as why, how everything worked out. I think it went pretty flawless. I mean, just from watching from ESPN, NFL Network, and ABC's standpoint, I think it was flawless at that point. But going with Chiefs on day 3, we talked about it earlier in the day, just what they were able to do. They went after positions they needed some reinforcements at, I think. I was surprised they traded back in, getting Keys, Pete Keys, which now is my favorite name in the entire NFL. What was the biggest thing you took out of day 3 for the Chiefs?
Yeah, Bo Pete is a strong name, and you might see him on my all-name team that I'll have coming out here on Sunday after the draft on all these players that are drafted. But, what I really like about Bo Peep, he's a long guy. He's really good in coverage, and that's what they really tried to address in this second round, is they tried to address that defensive backfield, and I believe they went all defensive players. So it's exciting for Steve Spagnuolo and that defense now. They're really building up for the future when they drafted the edge and then 2 corners, and one of those corners can also play safety as well. So these are really picks that will be able to grow up in Steve Spagnuolo's defense.
And the thing that I've seen, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's just doing more research on these guys, not just day 3, but the entire draft for the Chiefs, there's speed across the board. I mean, we know what the Chiefs want, whether it's offense and the speed with the receivers and the running backs, or it's on the defense and the secondary and linebacking core. I mean, there's speed all over the place, and that's what Brett Veach and the Chiefs went out and got this weekend too.
Yeah, and even if you look at their undrafted free agents, we got an undrafted free agent tracker going on at Arrowhead Report and SI.com. You can look at that, and you can see that they've even added speed guys after the draft. They want more speed on that defensive side of the ball. They want more speed just in general. They added a wide receiver, I believe, that ran a 4.3, and I believe a cornerback that ran close to that as well. So speed is the name of the game. Also, the AFC West has added a lot of speed guys with Jerry Jeudy coming in and others for those AFC West teams. Basically, I know you've said it, it's going to be a track meet.
And that's where I wanted to go next was the AFC West. The Broncos giving Drew Lock every opportunity now just to be successful. Got him his old tight end from college, Albert O, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. Just a lot of different weapons for Denver. Chargers go out and get a quarterback of the future. The Raiders give Derek Carr every opportunity to succeed. It's going to be interesting. I think it may be the most exciting division maybe. I mean, you have the NFC South, you have Tom Brady and Gronk down there with the Saints and the Panthers, as well as the Falcons. But I think the AFC West may be one of the most dangerous and unpredictable outside of the Chiefs, obviously, this year too.
Yeah, it could be the highest scoring division as well. And I think it has the potential to turn into that. You see a lot of these AFC West teams have decided, okay, well, since we can't really defend Patrick Mahomes, let's try to outscore Patrick Mahomes. So that seems like it's going to be the strategy, kind of attacking that Chiefs defense. And I think that's why you saw the Chiefs go so much defensively, because these AFC West teams bulking up their offenses, the Chiefs need to bulk up their defense. In the end, I still think the Chiefs are going to come out on top, but it makes it more fun to have all these guys and these offensive weapons go to division rivals.
Tucker, a couple more questions for you. I'll let you go. We'll start with Clark Hunt this morning. I was talking to the media and talking to us a little bit about just what's been going on in the draft. Outside the draft, the big thing is Patrick Mahomes' contract. I mean, it's coming up. They don't have to do it anytime soon, but they want to get that done just to get the cap space taken care of. He says the last month has been all about the draft, but now it could be turning its focus to Patrick Mahomes. Just what are you expecting on that front for the Chiefs?
Yeah, when Brett Veach talked to us before the draft, he said that Mahomes is an obvious priority. You know that Brett Veach somewhere has that number that he wants for Pat Mahomes in a spreadsheet, and he's planned for that cap. He already has that contract in his head. They're just trying to work it out with him and his agent. That's going to happen. The most interesting thing I think is going to be is Chris Jones's contract. That'll be the more interesting thing, seeing how the cap falls and everything. I did just see one of these undrafted free agents signed for $107,000. So that's going to be interesting with a $7,000 signing bonus. So we'll see how this all cap thing runs out. Cap is a tricky thing. It's hard to understand. I don't really fully grasp it. I'm not even sure if 100% of fans grasp it, but maybe Brett Veach has a couple guys on it. But I know that Patrick Mahomes is their number one priority at this point.
You talk about, the salary cap. I think there's a lot of wiggle room that a lot of us don't quite understand the fine lines of it, and that's okay. We just enjoy, going through the scenarios. But going to the NFL draft scenario, I'm in the party now that I almost enjoy it, maybe because it was different this year. I almost enjoyed this better than the old way of doing the draft. Now, the reasons why was the COVID-19 coronavirus, and you mentioned it, NFL raising millions of dollars for COVID-19 relief. That's why the draft was the way it was this year, all virtual. But I feel like you got a more personal approach with the players. I mean, we don't have to go into all the stories that we were kind of, had throughout the weekend, but seeing those moments for the players and their families, you saw behind the scenes kind of look on the coaches and general managers. Then Roger Goodell. I think Roger Goodell was about as personable as we've seen him. I mean, just leaning back in his chair, this made the NFL draft feel different and feel a little bit more exciting to me.
I think this is going to change all future NFL drafts. I really do. It's cool to see the players when they get picked around people, around their loved ones. That's really cool to see. That's always been one of my favorite things. Even when you get into later rounds of the regular NFL drafts, they go to players' homes and there's players there with their families. I've always liked that way better than a player walking out on stage and he's got 4 or 5 of his family members there. But the best part was seeing all these general managers and coaches' houses. That was my favorite part. You have Bill Belichick's dog sitting in his chair. Cliff Kingsbury's house looks like he's a kingpin of some sort. He's making all kinds of money. That was the coolest part for me, is just getting this little peek. It almost humanizes these people that we look up to so much.
And it was quite the 3 days of the NFL draft. Tucker, I want to thank you for coming on each and every night here on KQ2 with me to break down the draft. It should be an exciting offseason, and we'll get you back on here because I think we're going to need to kind of talk about the NFL for a few more months at least as we kind of figure out when we'll get back to some normalcy. So, Tucker Franklin, thank you again for coming on.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Anytime.